Yeah! All right. Let's take some funk and metal and throw them in a big pot together and see what we come up with. One of my favorite players in the world who does this is Nuno Betancourt of Extreme. Does really awesome, thick sounding funk with ripping metal riffs over the top of it. I mean, what more could you ask for? So anyways, enough of that. Guitar jams. Go to the site. Go to Marty's songs. Learn some covers. Learn some theory. Take advantage of all the stuff we got for you. I'm going to leave some links down below. Totally check them out. It's totally worth the stop. It's never a waste of time at Guitar Jams land. Alright, so let's learn how to confuse. Let's learn how to fuse funk and metal together. Alright, so hopefully I won't do it. My last statement was and confuse you. But, so mixing funk and metal together, you know, get you away from that typical, which is nothing wrong with it. I mean, I love good funk players, James Brown and all that stuff, but I tend to like really aggressive sounding music. Not so much like hardcore metal where you like punch someone in the face kind of music, but just, you know, good. Where it's like a good fusion of blues, metal, and funk. So what I'm going to do is we'll take a typical funk, you know, right? And we'll throw some distortion. And then you can throw some riffs, but not just standard like minor pentatonic, which is cool. I mean, it comes up with, you know, you can come up with all sorts of cool stuff like that. But what I really like is when we start throwing in some other scales and doing like some of those half bends. Throwing in some chromatic runs on top of the E minor pentatonic and fusing it all together. So let's see what we can come up with. One of the first riffs I did right there. So what I'm doing is I'm hitting an open E. And then I'm doing an upstroke. Okay, this chord is 2nd finger, 7th fret E. 1st finger is going to be the 6th fret D. My 3rd finger is going to be on the 7th fret G. And my pinky is going to be on the 8th fret. Alright, some of you might know that as the Hendrix chord. Okay, so what we're going to do, right? So it's basically an open E, and then I go down and up with a mute. And then I follow it by going D note to the E note on the A. Now that sets us up for where we want our riff to be, because if you can imagine the drum beat going boom, bah, boom, bah, or whatever, you know, some typical type of funk. Simple, you know, funk beats and funk songs tend to have, although they don't always, but they tend to have simple drum beats, so it's easy to syncopate to it. So what we can do is we can play around with the space that's usually created by a sparse drum beat. So we can kind of add more percussive content to the tune. So what I'm going to do there is I'm going to incorporate muting, artificial harmonics, chromatics, and pentatonic riffs, right? So what I did is the first one I used an open E string. So I went from open E, 5 to 7 on the E string, but I hammered it on like that, and then I hit the D note on the A string, which is the 5th fret. And I added a little bit of a pinch harmonic, which is basically when you're hitting your pick and your thumb skin at the same time. It's kind of that. Some guys have an angle like that. You can also use the nail of your finger. So what you're trying to do is get pick and skin together. Now gain really helps when you try to do that. So I actually, I'll show you the setup a little bit later, but right, you get the point. So what I did is I did the same riff on the next set of strings higher, which is the A and D string. So I went and did the same thing. Now when I get down to that D note, the first, I bend it down a little bit. So when you hear players, a lot of what distinguishes a okay player to a better player is when they start to infuse all these little subtle, a little quick before the vibrato. Right? So what we can do is we can pull that down. And then I land on this G note, give it a good shake, and then I come out of a different scale and I grab this 6th fret and I bend it back into the E minor pentatonic by just bending it a half step. And then I go back down, 7, 5 on the A, and then I go to the E and go chromatically down. So I go 7, 6, 5, 3. So all together you got. Right? So now you've got not just funk, but you got some rock in there. You can add all those little flavors that you want. Right there I added a little bit more of pinch harmonics. You can add them all over the place, but those are other little subtle things that you can do to really kind of give something a punchy, aggressive sound. So the next riff that I did was I went down. You can do there we go. Let's go up to the higher string. So we'll take the same E minor pentatonic start and we'll go 5, 7 on the A. Then we're going to go 6, 7 on the D, 6, 7 on the G. And then I'm going to do that same half bend. So I came down, 6, 7, and then I did the same thing on the next string, which is the A string, right? And you land on that note and it doesn't really sound, it doesn't really fit, but if you just blow past that note and land on something back to pull you back into the key, it'll work. So we got... So what I did there is now I'm hitting 4 on the A and 5 on the D together. So we got, which also sounds kind of, but together, sliding back and forth will pull you back into the key. So we got. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to break up the monotony of just being down in this lower register. And let's go up to the E minor pentatonic first position. And do the same kind of thing we did down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 12 to 14 on the D. 12 to 14 on the G. And now I'm going to go to 13 and bend up a half step. So back down to 13, which gets us into E major, right? And then I'm going to go 14, 12 on the D. And then I'm going to go 14, 13, 12, 11. And then I'm going to do that same kind of shape down here on the D and the G. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be sliding into the E note, or the E chord right here. Right, so it's going to be 11 and 12 sliding into 13 and 12. And I'm going to do it twice. So we're going to have... And then I'm going to go back down here and have some more fun. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide. Let's add some sliding riffs in there. So what I'm doing here is I'm sliding, and I'm going to use some string skipping in between. So I'm going to slide up to the A, and then the F sharp note right here on the G string. So I'm going to go A, F sharp, A, F sharp, slide. And then I'm going to grab the G sharp right here. So we got, right, 11th fret. And I'm going to keep that same shape, that whole step apart shape, and slide down and grab 7 and 9 on the G and A. So far we got. Now I'm going to go a half step. Do that little bend that we've been doing. And then I'm going to pull off from 7 rather to 5 on the D. So all together we got. Now we're going to slide back up to the A note. And down and get us resolved back to that E. So we got. And we're done. So now what we've done is we've gone all over the neck, breaking up the monotony of just being down in one register. You know, you can. Right, but sometimes it's good because the bass is going to be holding down something along those lines as well. So if we can kind of get different tones and different sounds, and then, you know, slide around, go up to a higher register, and really add some other, you know, harmonic content to the whole soup of what we got going on, it'll stick out more as a player. Spice up your funk, make it exciting, rip rockin' and metal. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. We totally appreciate it. It is always amazing that people are supportive of Marty and myself. You know, like I said, check out his other channels, Guitar Jams. There's lots of really great theory, funk, country, all sorts of different musical styles. I really like the theory lessons a lot. I myself have spent a lot of time just learning by ear, and I'm not so sharp. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed when it comes to theory. But I really like simple, broken down, applicable theory lessons. And those are, you know, just awesome stuff to, you know, really check out, really get that knowledge in there. I can't stress the importance enough now looking back. I wish as I was beginning, I had the theory knowledge, because it really helps, and really it helps break you out of just the typical, you know, man, I've just got these pentatonic riffs, and, you know, you get bored. So spice it up, learn some theory, learn how to do a bunch of different stuff, man. Learn all musical styles. And one other thing I really like to stress, and Marty does a great job of mixing it up on the Marty songs, is, you know, really study different styles of music. Don't lock yourself into the box of just, you know, I'm a metal dude and that's it, everything else sucks. Don't waste your time. Really, you know, if you want, especially if you want a gig, learn everything. And, you know, that, you know, learning a country and all this other stuff, you know, will really improve your metal playing, give you ideas. You know, look at John Five, the guy from Marilyn Manson. He's just a burning country guitar player, but he, you know, uses metal and makes it country metal, which rocks. Everything with metal rocks. Blues rock, you know, it's good stuff. So anyways, thanks again. Catch you next time.